Once upon a time, there was a town where, whenever it snowed, the folk would say, "Mother Hulda is making her bed." They believed that the down feathers from her blanket would fall into their world and become snowflakes, leaving fresh blankets of snow while they stayed in their homes, warmed and content with their families. But one family was not quite friendly. A poor girl's father had passed, leaving her with her cruel stepmother and stepsister, who made her do all the chores restlessly and only fed her when they felt she'd done enough. One day, the girl, exhausted and malnourished, fell asleep at the spinning wheel and accidentally pricked her finger, spilling some blood on the thread of the bobbin. Afraid of her stepmother's wrath, the girl took it to the well to wash off the blood, but accidentally dropped it where it sank until she could no longer see it. Her stepmother was furious and demanded she not return until she went down the well and retrieved it. So the girl leapt into the well and sank, down, 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 until she was not sinking at all, but rather floating. She went down further until the brick of the well had disappeared, and she floated gently into a meadow in the middle of the day, where she saw a house in the distance. When she knocked on the door, she was greeted by a particularly old, hideous woman, and the girl jumped back in fright. But the old woman smiled warmly and said, "My dear child, I am Mother Hulda." The girl couldn't believe who she was meeting, and when Mother Hulda asked if she would like to come in to do some chores for her, she politely and cheerfully agreed. In the home of Mother Hulda, the girl did her chores, but was allowed to take breaks when she wanted and ate wonderful meals that Mother Hulda prepared for her. They had become friends, something that the girl had not felt in a long time. After a few days, Mother Hulda decided to entrust her most important chore to the girl. She took her upstairs to the balcony of the bedroom. "This is my blanket, my child. I want you to make my bed for me. When the down feathers fall from it, they fall into your world and become snowflakes." The girl was awestruck and happily took the blanket in her arms and began to fluff it over the balcony. It was difficult, but she put in her best effort and soon produced enough feathers to become snow back home. Mother Hulda was very proud. But something was wrong, and the girl began looking forlorn. "What's the matter, my child?" asked Mother Hulda. "Oh, Mother Hulda, I appreciate all you've done for me, but I miss my stepmother and stepsister, and I wish to return home." "Now, child, remember they made you feel very unwelcome in your own home." "I know, but my father always wanted me to take care of them, and so I must." So Mother Hulda finally, sadly, agreed to let the girl return home, but not without a gift first. She took her to a large archway in the middle of the meadow where she gave her back the cleaned bobbin and asked her to hold her apron ready to catch something. The girl obeyed, and after Mother Hulda said some magic words, from the top of the archway fell gold coins and jewels and a beautiful necklace, all into her apron. Then Mother Hulda said some more magic words and sent the girl up through the archway and back into her own world. In the morning, the girl awoke back home next to the well in a pile of gold and jewels, holding the bobbin. "What happened? Where have you come from?" asked the stepmother. "Oh, Mother, I have the bobbin," the girl replied. "Oh, never mind that bobbin. Where did you find all this treasure?" prodded her stepmother. "I received it as a gift from Mother Hulda," said the girl. The stepmother, almost in shock of what she had just heard, got a very good idea. So she went over to her own daughter and told her that she would be visiting Mother Hulda today. The stepsister put up a fight, but her mother pricked her finger, smeared the blood on the bobbin, and threw it down the well before shoving her down after it. The stepsister sank down, 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 until she was no longer sinking at all, but floating. And after the brick of the well disappeared, she floated down into that same meadow and spotted a house in the distance. The stepsister approached and knocked on the door, answered by Mother Hulda. Now the stepsister had heard from others that Mother Hulda had a frightening appearance, and so she curtsied politely and did not comment. Mother Hulda let her in and put her up to some chores, but the stepsister was not used to chores and was not very good at them, grumbling the whole time. After a few days, Mother Hulda decided to let her try her most important task and took her to the balcony where she presented her blanket. The stepsister took the blanket in her arms and tried her best, but it was difficult and she could not produce enough down feathers. So all that was created back home was not snow, but a light rainfall. The folk now said, "Perhaps Mother Hulda is sick?" The next day, Mother Hulda announced, "I have wonderful news for you, child. It's time for you to go home." The stepsister celebrated and then asked, "Won't you give me a present?" And Mother Hulda warmly agreed. She took her to that large archway, returned her cleaned bobbin, and asked her to hold her skirt ready to catch what was to come. Mother Hulda then said some magic words, and what fell from the archway was not gold or jewels or necklaces, but instead mud and toads. Mud and toads and a large snake. The next morning, the stepsister awoke in the mud to her mother screaming. Try as she might, the stepmother could not free her daughter from the mud, as it was enchanted so that it would stay on for the rest of their lives. However, the kind-hearted girl, who was a hard worker and went home with the gold and jewels, lived happily ever after. The end.